Welcome along, guys. It is time for a bit of racing. It's Colm, as always, in doing commentary with yourselves, and I'm joined again by the most offensive electric comms there is out there. Oliver, how are you doing?
Well, I thought you were going to start the stream with "It's a dark and stormy night someplace in the world," but hey ho, it is what it is.
Absolutely, it is what it is. I'm going to run through the standings, Oliver, and I want your lovely intellectual thoughts, if you have any, as we're going through, okay?
Right.
So, of course, the big thing tonight I want to say as well, LFM BOP's in. People are kind of a bit all over the place. Some want the BOP, some don't, because of obviously the reset of the BOP as well. So we had a quick vote before the race when we were in the driver briefing. I got them to vote, and 17 versus 6 or 7 to keep the BOP as it is. So it is what it is for this one. So Michael Thomas is in first position. He has won the first race, and then he won the double race last week in Donington on 165 points. In P2, Chris Foynan for the Mercedes AMG, and he's on 135 points. Then in third place is Matty Gamble on 124, but joined on 124 also is Cameron Hunt. So that's going to be an interesting battle. That's definitely going to develop there, because in fairness, second place isn't too far ahead of them, and even first place at the minute with the points and offer is definitely available. Then with Dino Piccioni in P5 on 106 points. Chris Tedder's behind them on 93 points. Tom Solis is behind him on 85 points. Darius Shimelski is on 83 points, only 2 points behind Tom Solis. So there's definitely tight battle in there. And then Jack Holden's on 80 points in P9. John Dudley is on 75 points in P10. Then in P11 we have Simon Kowalski on 69 points. Jan Hansel is on 68 points. Giuseppe Castellano is on 65. Marco Lori is on 53. Dominic Geese, who's now obviously not racing the BMW because he hates it, probably the worst time to quit. That's probably the fastest car on track. He's on 51 points. Then we've Lorig on 37. Gary Smith's on 36. That name I'm just not going to pronounce is on 24. Luca Mari is on 13. Lowry and Pooley are both on 5 points. And I'm just going to go over the Pro-Am really quickly then as well, because that was just the pros. Any comment on that?
Jesus Christ.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Jay Broker's leading the Pro-Am with Morris Booton in second. Lewis Robson's in third. Then he's quite a few points off the guys. He's on 109, joint with Tory Miller there as well. Then behind him is Craig Kewla and Hanzich, both on 99 points. On 96 points is just John Wilson. Then behind them is Glenn Smith on 93 points. Then we've got Cops, who's on 91. Matthew Feltham, who's on 90. Then we have Roy Blues, who's on 81. And then joint on 47 is Tim Smee and Andre Batek. Then you've got Mark Conway on 38, Britt Batiste on 35, Aitor on 35, Simsik is on 25, Dobos on 17, Adam Anderson's on 13, and that's pretty much that. So yeah, I suppose let's have a now look at what's happening on track.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Good time to come into the live track action, Mooney.
And that is how you do it. So that is Batek and Castellano. What a way. What a way. Now, just to kind of give everyone an update, you would have seen last week we had a minute silence for one of the drivers who lost a father, and that driver is Giuseppe Castellano, and that's him on the stream there. So welcome back, Giuseppe. Hope you and the family are doing well. So, Oliver, it is Zolder. What are we to expect tonight?
Well, nothing but the greatest of racing. Wonderful evening conditions, which always runs nice with the Zolder race. Difficult track to overtake, but it is obviously possible in some places to do so. Few launches we might end up seeing in this race. Tough battling, door-to-door banging. Crazy skill studio of the lines they'll be taking through the second part of the track as well. Well, we are expecting nothing but great racing tonight, honestly. It's such a great track for these cars. It feels fun to drive in GT3 cars, and those out there who haven't tried racing GT3 cars yet, this is one of the first tracks that you must try them on. It is a little bit tricky in those tighter parts, as we can see one of them in the background here on the track, and again up near turn 7. But it gives you such a good feeling for the cars with the slight elevation on this track as well. It's a track where you can really learn how to take advantage of track limits. It's a track where you can learn a little bit about trail braking into some of the corners. It's a track where you can learn the late braking and the essence of hitting that brake marker every time, and the consistency of braking. It's all in all just a wonderful racetrack. Not the longest of straights, so on this track that could be become a little bit of a tricky thing with overtakes, but it have never stopped drivers previously when racing on this track for overtaking and making some epic moves. So nothing but a superior entertainment we're expecting tonight on the channel. And if we don't get superior entertainment, then you can give Mooney a golden shower after the race.
Or subscribe to Oliver's OnlyFans either, but that's a different story. Looking here, so just to let the people know, the reason why there's only a few cars out is that we're doing odds and evens on this one tonight. So it's evens went out first for the first 10 minutes, and now it's odds for the next 10. So Matty Gamble's out there at the minute, Castellano, Gary Smith, Sim6 out there, Jawaleski, Bhutan, easily confused with another name, and then Kowalaskov, or Kawai Kozyakov, Alexander.
Yes, I think that will be easier to pronounce.
Oh.
Anyways, as we can see a little bit of towing going on here, or have they even started the laps yet, Moon? You could probably tell us that if they're still on the way out.
So
definitely driving extremely close. I hope that they will space themselves out a little bit before getting to the start-finish line if this is the outlap, but if they're flying out, someone bails off there.
Yeah. Yes, all these are all on fast laps here, like the Castellano. Gamble's still setting up, but Gamble is after invalidating his lap, so this lap won't count for him, as the same for Alexander. Yeah, I forgot his name's Alexander. So Bhutan is actually on a good lap here. Your good friend Bhutan.
Yes, him and I, we enjoy a lot of war talks and a slight bit of vodka together from time to time. Who else? Who else doesn't like a good invasion, honestly? Oh no, that's the wrong guy I'm thinking of. This is my other friend, Bhutan.
He's actually from France. He is actually a gent. He was a little bit worried last week with the way we were doing points and all that. He's a good guy. He at least voices his opinion in a nice way. But I'm expecting him to be good. People were saying the Beamer's going to be the fastest car here. Michael Thomas, a 1:26.830. That's a goddamn fast time in an Aston.
It surely is, but traditionally the Aston have been good around this track as well. Basically, that goes for all of the front-engine cars, as they are more, I would say, subtle on the curbs traditionally than the mid-engine machineries.
Yeah.
So not surprising that we see so many of the front-engine cars up in the front at the minute. Not a lot of mid-engine cars, honestly, in this field. Tons and tons of BMWs on the grid, and they all line up almost perfectly together from 6th and down to about 10th, a good bunch of them there.
And the argument was the Beamers would be winning, and winning by a mile here, so I'm thinking this already is going to show that the BOP isn't massively different.
No, and even if there are cars that are superior, if we go as far as say, I know that the people that makes these BOPs, they try and ensure that the cars are within roughly about half a second of each other when they're on average during over the course of a race. Obviously there'll be differences in qualifying on low fuel and stuff like that and tire wear. But usually it is still more the driver that makes a difference. Obviously if an idiot like you and me would come in here in a Honda, we would have no possible chance of doing anything good, but both you and me
speak for yourself.
Fairly average drivers, we could come in here and it would make almost no difference whatsoever if we were in the BMW or Ferrari, honestly.
Well, if I was in the Jag, I'd be winning it. And Ninja Neens, after typing in her Golf is faster than your car, you mean. So she reckons her Golf would be faster than any of the cars around the Zolder. I reckon so too.
Probably. We do love some a good Golf from time to time, obviously. Great cars. I wish we had those in GT3 formats. It would be fun to see them racing around.
Imagine the Golf 4.
Imagine the Golf 4 GT3 spec with the massive wing and huge body kit. It would be every Brian's dream to have that car.
And it'd probably still be the slowest car though. But anyway.
Yeah, well, it would be hella cool. And that's the main thing about these cars. They are just cool looking machinery.
Oh, yeah. So we're on with Simsik here down in P22 at the minute.
Yeah, do a good job. Keep getting a nice apex hooked up there at least. Although it didn't look too fast around, this is one of the more trickier corners where the car sort of flushes out. If you don't hit it right, it's hard to take. Then into the apex it goes, not in on the curb on the inside as the fastest guys will normally be. Though he did get a good exit there coming onto the curbing and not putting two wheels in the grass, which is crucial for a good lap around here, as that are one of the longest straights on the track. Looked fine through the chicanes, over the small crest, down to these corners, the double chicane, cutting a lot of track there as you were supposed to. That did look like it was close to, very close to track limits, as the curbs are track limits around those corners.
He was fine.
But
He was fine.
as far as I'm concerned, he's still green and not on a red time, so
Yep.
so good drive from him. That was literally on the edge of the allowed track that he could take there. Close to going wide through the penultimate braking zone, coming into the final braking zone of the track. Difficult one to get right. I often seem to be either braking a little bit too late or a little bit too early, but he seems to get it hooked up nicely. Good acceleration as well out of the final corner. No wheel spin, it looks like, on the cameras, and across the line we go.
Up into P20. And come here, I have a question for you, Oliver.
You have many questions normally, but go on.
So have you ever had a girl text you or message you through any kind of social media or private message and ask you, could you be the friend that I'd talk about their periods with them?
Fun fact that you should say it, because the only one that have ever texted me that are actually you. So no, I wouldn't say that I have had a woman texting me.
I forgot I done that. Yeah, I had a girl today who's messaging in the chats, and then Janine's asking me this. Funnily enough, it's not a topic that I'm very up on. I don't really have them that often.
I thought you were expert.
No, I'm telling you, definitely not. But that is the end of qualifying, Oliver. So Michael Thomas is on pole position in an Aston Martin, and P2 is Cameron Hunt in a Ferrari. Chris Finan in Mercedes is in P3. Dino Piccioni is in a BMW. So that's the fastest BMW P4. So, you know...
I think the myth that the myth that the BMWs are OP are a little bit debunked already.
Yeah, I think that's kind of showing that. Not much has changed in terms of the pecking order, in terms of who has been the fastest. Jay Broker next in the Mercedes. Then we have Marco Lori in the BMW, Morris Booton in the BMW, Matthew Gamble in the BMW, Gary Smith then in the Ferrari, Jan Hansel and Simon Kowalski next in the BMWs. Then we have Kowalski in a Ferrari. No, it's not, Giuseppe in a Ferrari, and he's Italian, so that makes even more sense. Then we've got John Wilson in the BMW. Then we've got Adrian in the first of the Macas with Tom Solis in a Ferrari, Tori Miller in the Mercedes, Craig Hewlett in the most beautiful looking livery that McLaren ever known to man. Then Kops in the BMW, Tedder is in the Macca, Simsik is in the Ferrari, Batek in the BMW, Kowalski is then in the McLaren as well. So there's like, it's a fair mix of cars. It's just that there is a lot of Beamers tonight because we are missing a few people. I see a good few people did sign out of the race today. I'm assuming because they were afraid of the BOP not knowing what was going to happen. But to be honest with you, I don't think really much has changed.
No, it looks pretty much the same. I think that it goes completely dark for the race. Very nice detail there, Mooney. I think it's roughly this. It is a little bit weird seeing Chris Tedder so far down the order, but it could be the McLaren that have been. I would say since the Evo came out, then the McLaren was a very good car, and then basically from the start of the year, feels like that they've been maybe not selected as much in the racing community as it maybe used to. I would say it's even further down in selection than it used to be before the Evo at this current stage of racing. It is a bit of a shame though. I like the Mecha myself. It's a beautiful looking machinery and all in all a good car to drive. But yeah, we'll see if any of the Mecha drivers can get further up the field during this evening. As I think the Moon is preparing for a grid walk. If I can stop talking for a minute, it could be a bit hard.
I was going to ask you, could you do it? Because the names are over the cars if you want to go for it.
No, this is all you, Mooney.
Okay, so in the pole position, we have Mr. Michael Thomas. Watch his YouTube as well. He's actually a bit of a YouTube ledge. Then in P2, we have Mr. Hunt. Why isn't the camera moving for me? I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm all over the place. No, obviously not the right thing. There we go. Nope. I don't know what's going on there. I'll just go over to my tool here because I have no clue what's happening. Where's my mouse even? No, my computer's acting the maggot. There we go, drive. What's going on here? I don't know what's happening. Help me, Oliver. There we go.
Difficulties it seems we have tonight.
It's called having a me, that's all. Right, let's try. No, see, the minute I try to do that weird cam, it goes mental. Drive.
Well, then let's not do that weird cam.
Right, then let's just talk shy. There we go, get this back. Right, camera gone.
That we should talk shit. That will be fun, Mooney.
Right, I'm going to try one more time because that's just how I roll. Right, so firstly, that, then that. Right, now let's... Nope, it's just not working. It just doesn't want to work.
I think you are just moving it around with too much speed. I think that seems to be the issue, that your scroll wheel could adjust the speed and you're just flying up and down in the
But I have the scroll wheel, I have it down to like 0, but I'll try it one more time.
But anyways, the grid is us following while Mooney is figuring out the camera thing and shows the deliveries after. Michael Thomas on pole position, alongside him Cameron Hunt.
Right.
Second row of the grid, winning, and Pinocchio.
Here we have it.
Oh, now we are coming. Let's continue the grid walk. That is Hunt here in P2, second row of the grid, winning, and Picconi, not Pinocchio, Picconi, obviously, that's his name. In fourth position, third row of the grid. Yes, it's nice. It's a nice 0 car we are looking at here. Good number. We always love to see that. Third row of the grid is Jay Broker and Marco Lurie. Jay Broker, we saw last time out having a decent battle going on with, I can't actually remember who, but it was quite the battle that the guys had the other nice machinery number car.
Well, that's your favorite number, no?
Oh, it's close to, my favorite number is coming further down the grid. Row, now I can't remember what row we are at. We must be on row 4. As Booten lines up with Matthew Gamble alongside him. Interesting to see if Gamble can gain a few positions in this race. Normally a pretty fast driver who are capable of putting it at least in the top 4 in races like this. Next row of the grid we have Gary Smith. Gary, as always, the most handsome man in sim racing.
No, that's Glenn. That's not Gary.
Oh, that's Glenn. That's not... Jesus Christ, what do I know? It's something with G and Smith. It's the G Smith. Jan Hansel lines up next to him.
That's a nice
beautiful car. Already looks like it's battered from driving.
I love this car.
Kowalowski one step further down with Soup next to him. Also great livery on that one. I love the red and white paint schemes, of course, especially the most white and a little bit red on them. It looks very nice. Gesivi there. John Wilson and Henny Wise lining up behind them. Also, Jason Leroy there on the BMW almost looks a bit classic with the color combinations. Very nice to see that he took the story, the histories of BMW.
We need to rush this to get the back.
As the cars are dropping down. Tom Solis and Tori Miller lining up down here as the camera goes haywire once to Greg. Craig Hewlett lines up next to Chris Taylor. And we're already down to Bartek, of course, the great Bartek. Andre Bartek, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. New livery on that car tonight. I wish it was a little bit lighter so we could see it as we are moving around the track. We didn't get to talk about that Polish guy lining up in 22nd position. Short formation lap here in the Supercharged Motorsports community. Not a lot of time to warm up the tires, but we are coming on to the start-finishing line as we are very close to be going.
It's lights out and all around Anderson is a hole.
That was a wait and a half into the first corner. Side-by-side action. Michael Thomas, Cameron Hunt trying it on the outside of Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas coming off of a dominant race win the last time out in Donington. Keeping the position there nice and clean so far. No one's off into Narnia as of yet. Bartek haven't been out on his speed yet in this race. Matthew Gable dropping a little bit there to 8th position and coming under pressure from Smith. No, that's Hansel is coming under pressure from his into 9th. That could be a position down to 10th. But on the inside into the chicane, that's normally the best place to be. Honestly,
Look at the exit from Gary there.
Out. Actually, very good, good and clean first couple of corners here. Lap 1 on Zolder, not something that we see usually. Next corner
You
we go.
just jinxed it.
Oh, that's a big spin. They're taking out another car. 2 BMWs out. Evasive action is being taken further down the field. He just stays stationary as he's supposed to. A little bit of a weird head-on contact there.
Right, let's go back.
As he goes going again, that was that it? That's Matthew Gamble. That's Matthew Gamble involved in that. And I think it was Jan Hansel, the other one, but that
Let's
was
have a
definitely
look.
Gamble, the car that got checked in the back.
So what happened with Gary and the other car?
Oh, it's the slide. It's the door-to-door contact. We talked about this earlier, and that just unsettles the car under braking, and nothing anyone could have done there except they could have tried to avoid the door-to-door contact. But we are GT racing, so that sort of things are to be expected. That some argy-bargy will be had in races, especially around Zolder. That is just unfortunate that Matthew Gamble got caught out in this one. He will have a monster job. His winning is have spun out at turn 1 and 2 on the second lap. Ooh, just clips the inside there, goes onto the grass, and then the wobbliness of the rear end of the Mercedes spins him out. Also does a good job waiting there. Gets going again before Hansel and Gamble came up to him. A few drivers on the recovery drive. Ooh, he's off again. He must have damage in that car. This is highly unfortunate for him. Though back to the front again. It looks like that. What? I think the timing boards are wrong, as they say Chris Tedder's leading, but that can't be true. It's Michael Thomas under severe pressure from Cameron Hunt at the minute. Interesting to see that Thomas is not just running away with this one, that there's actually battling for P1 in this race. Further down the field, the pole is... A lot of things is happening, and the cameras are jumping all over the place. Simsik in 21st position, following around. He must have have had a small spin there just a few moments ago. I think that our great cameraman Mooney is trying to find a replay of that as we are speaking. It could be a little bit difficult, of course. Still good racing. A few gaps are forming already if we look on the track map.
Right, I have about 5 replays to show. Well, 2 replays to show you the last 2. So we'll jump off with this one between Battech and 211. I don't know if they're actual incidents or not.
No, but they
are.
A
A
lot of spinning there. Lights up there for Bartek, already flashing the lights before the contact, as we know Bartek.
And another one with Battech.
Could have got there. Unfortunate for him, but Bartek doing a good job up into 17th position at the minute.
There was another one, but it's not showing anything.
Oh, that's unfortunate, but a few gaps are forming on the track map, as we Civic is having a few issues, it seems like, on track, but a few gaps are forming now, and battle groups are being decided by a slow drive in front, and someone is running up there with the rain lights on. Oh, move from Thomas and Hunt side by side through the second chicane on the track. Hunt really trying everything he got to stay with Michael Thomas for this one. I just don't know why it still says that Chris Tedder's leading the race for some reason. Maybe he just never passed the... is he stuck in the pits? And I've been there since the start of the race and just haven't passed the first
No, Tedder's on the track. Where is Tedder? Where is Chris Tedder? Chris Tedder.
That definitely can't be right that he's leading the race at this point.
No, he's definitely not. Where is he?
That is one good question.
I don't think he's racing. He must have left the server.
Yeah, because we still had the timing of his qualifying up there in
yes,
during the good August. But oh, that's a big contact.
Oh my!
Taking out that Bartek that got taken out that one as well. That was unfortunate for Glusup there that he that it was so slight contact, misjudgment of his own car just before the braking, or as they were braking, putting another car into a spin. Whoa!
Oh, it was Hansel that caused that with the other Ferrari, but the Ferrari was cutting across Hansel.
That is super unfortunate for these guys, but again, Zolder just provides this kind of action. Ooh, hitting the wall into the pits there, it seemed like, from that driver. But up the front, Hunt is still in hot pursuit of Michael Thomas. Further down the field with Marco Lurie here in the one of the 2 BMWs, right on the tail of that looks to be Piccone. That he was trying to chase down. A little bit of a gap forming now out of the hairpin. It looks like Piccone is coming even closer to Jay Broker than Lurie is to him now. Butin gaining some ground on Lurie. the 69 machinery there of Larry is doing his best to keep up with the drivers ahead. I feel like that the battling between Broker and Piccone might have been the thing that have kept him running in that fight.
Yeah,
Back to Jan Hansel further down the field.
look at the train behind him.
He's that's a little bit of he might be a good. Well, that's because of the rain light is distracting everyone behind. Someone dives into the pits in the background, getting the mandatory pit stop out of the way early. That could be a good idea if you're stuck in traffic and you feel like you have more pace than the cars ahead of you. But yeah, Hansel is definitely driving a freight train back there. Broker and Piccone onto it once again.
This is for P3.
Close driving between these drivers. It is hard when we are on the level of these drivers. We see the same in the front of the field and further down. It is hard to get a proper move set up around this track if the car ahead of you doesn't make a tiny mistake. But it is all about being close to the car ahead so you can take advantage if it does make a slight mistake. Even the tiniest wheel slip coming out of a corner could be your opportunity to get the move done. And that's just how racing is when you do these tight and twisty circuits. But Piccone doing a great job there. It is a little bit difficult when you're behind another car, adjusting your braking zones. You will have to brake slightly earlier than usual, as if you brake on your usual braking point, which will be the point the other car is braking, then you'll normally meet each other up in the end. There's a little bit of a slide there from both cars come on to the start-finish straight. Side by side towards turn 1 we go. Almost Broker taking the inside. Piccone coming to the inside this time around. Jay Broker made a tiny mistake there, not defending that one to the end. As Piccone on the inside now, this could be the move done for P3 in the race. It looks like he made it happen. With Broker right behind. Slight contact there. Interesting to see if anything will come out of that in the stewarding room later, but it did look very clean from our views. And a little bit of trend. Now it's Butine in the background on Larry. Looks like he actually got that move done. No, he didn't. Larry strikes back. I can just see the names jumping up and down in the side of the timing.
Oh.
Very, very close between these guys. And Butine is now under pressure from who's that? That's Gary Smith behind him who have joined in with that battle.
Yeah, Gary is definitely moving forward quite nicely.
He most certainly is gaining a few positions in this race already from Gary Smith.
Bartek just got a move. Let's do a replay of it.
Bartek with the flashing lights as always. No one else but Andre Bartek on the outside into the chicanes. Little bit lucky with the braking. That gave him a bit of a squeeze, but fair enough move. Fair enough move it looked like that from Andre Bartek. Good driving. Lovely to see the number 4 BMW doing so well. One of the two cursed numbers we have in this community, of course, the 101 and the 4. Not a number that you would normally want to be picking for racing, as the racing guards don't take too drivers who drive with those numbers. Further down the field, battle for P14, which is 13 now, as Jan Hansel have come into the pits. Stimmig and Hewlett really on it to each other, striking each other out slightly. Does Hewlett try to by running a little bit alternate lines? The only issue of that is that he might be using up his tires a little bit more than Simic are doing, and that could hurt him later on in the race.
I'm just letting you do the comms. Sorry.
Oh, I just have a ton of pings going on Discord for some reason at the minute. But Simic is still running this in good. Thomas and Hunt getting close together once again in this race. These two could be duking it out all race if this keeps up, which we obviously hope to see, as the intensity between these two does seem to be there, and especially from Cameron Hunt, who really wants this race winner. They are catching up to Matthew Gamble now, who might get lapped soon. Though Matthew Gamble have taken his pit stop already. These drivers obviously haven't, as they are running. Butine and Smith into turn 1.
Your favourites in the pits.
Andre Bartek coming into the pits to save his pit stop earlier. Smith goes on to the inside of Butene. Butene let the door wide open there for Smith. Good aware driving of Smith to take advantage of that. Through the... That would be turn number 3 into 4 now. Smith have taken position. The Butene does seem to get a better run out of 4 there. Coming onto the chicane at the end of this small straight. Butene on the outside of Smith. Ooh, close to contact. Smith goes for the early apex. Doesn't get the best of exits. Does Butene now comes up. Ooh, contact. Oh, unfortunate. Butene does the right thing and slowing up down there, completely checking up. It looks like Butene is planning on waiting for Smith, maybe, or does he just continue driving? Hard to say, really, but that was iffy. It is difficult through that over that crest with the corner coming right after it. Hence why he's going for a spin there as well, getting involved, maybe. They are doing their best, of course, to keep it on. Hence why here in the replay, my screen is lagging quite a bit. He's up there with Smith.
Yeah, bear with me 1 sec, so if that's lagging. Yeah, so Henswick is just ahead of Smith here at the minute. So yeah, doing a good enough job, as good as they can do, I suppose, in the situation there. So yeah, it looks like he's struggling a little bit in the McLaren here this evening. I hope your stream should be back live any second now. I'm going to jump on with Craig Hewlett. He's still fighting with Simsic as well.
Yeah, the stream is just still running the tiny bit of lag, but that's all right, Mooney. I get the gist of the race, as they say. Though all the overlays have disappeared, but Simic and Hewlett close driving into turn 1.
Yeah, they're doing a good job there, in fairness. Looking around at the minute, Hansel's just after stopping.
Oh, Hansel stopped for some reason on the track. I wonder if he have hardware issue. What is going on with
It must be a hardware issue. He's there showing the steering around.
It seems like he might have lost force feedback there. So that is a typical move to try and get a small feel for it. Parking, maybe he should have pulled off into the grass there, but...
Yeah.
Anyways.
That is what it is. We jump back on with Hewlett and Simsic. It is the actual closest battle at on the track at the minute.
Yeah, and it is. What would you do in this situation, Mooney? As I don't have any timing on my screen whatsoever. I don't know how long left in the race. But would you, if you were Hewlett here, would you come into the pits and risk getting out in traffic? But being traffic you could dispose of quicker, or would you stay behind and try and maybe overcut Simic?
Yes, to be honest with you, I'm looking at the track map that's here, and look, if the thing isn't working out, I'll re-share it now in a second. Looking at the track map, realistically, a pit stop here is what, about, even if he splash and dashes, about 30 odd seconds. He should be able to do it and come out just ahead of P19 and ahead then of P1 and that. If I was him, I probably would, not to lose time and just get that free air.
But the thing is, as a driver in this situation, you normally don't have a spotter with you when you're doing these sprint races.
True.
So it can be a little bit difficult to keep up with all the data and necessary information that you would need to make that kind of decision. As Hewlett goes to the inside of Simic there, ooh, that was close to becoming a disaster. Still on the inside of Simic. Into turn 4 we go now. This is not a place you normally want to be side by side as the stream goes lagging, as my voice continues going up. Moody can probably tell me what happens on the outside of that. They are still
There's the rubbing doors. They're rubbing doors. Simsic's on the inside. Hewlett's on the outside. Coming to chicane. Simsic obviously has the better position. Gets on the brakes. Hewlett has to let off and get going. Hewlett gets a really nice exit. He's given the flashers to Simsic. And while I'm talking like this with a really high voice, I'm going to stop the stream and restart it for you, as Craig Hewlett now is behind Simsic. So let me have a look here now. And that should be back for you now, as Craig goes wide and drops it by himself. And he's after hitting the barrier, but he's right on the racing line. But he's gotten off the racing line, but now he needs to be careful about his re-entry. He's spinning the wheels. Oh, he's alright though, there's no other cars around him. And he's back going, but that was very, very close to being... Could have been catastrophic, but he's after dropping down behind Kowalski, Castellano got by, so he's really only lost 3 positions from that, but still will be quite annoyed with that one.
Yeah, it's always a rough thing when you drop the car. I know I always didn't see if there were contact involved, but spinning around, losing a lot of time there. Now he's on for the recovery race as well, joining the club of recovering drivers in this race. only the fewest of drivers, it seems like, are able of keeping their cars out of troubles and out of issues. After that big spin, he might want to come into the pits and take some fresh tires, as he could have flat spots on those that he is racing on at the minute.
Yeah.
He does come into the pit, Craig Hewlett into the pits this time around.
And Batek. Back in the pits,
Bartek
actually.
is still in the pit, so have he come back? He has been there for 5 minutes and 30
Oh,
seconds. That's
yeah.
a long time that you've been stationary.
Maybe
That
Batek's
doesn't
given
seem,
up. Wonder what's going on with him.
It is hard to say.
Let me see. Can we find any? There was contact with Batek here. Let's have a look.
Nothing too crazy.
No, there was no major. I don't know what's happened, Batek. No, I did see someone had a steering connection issue. All right, I'm wondering, does he have some sort of a hardware issue or a software issue, maybe?
It could be, and that would be highly unfortunate, of course, as we like to see Bartik out there driving on track. Anyways, further down the field, Matthew Gable still trying his best to recuperate some of his lost time and lost ground. He is doing some reasonable lap times at the minute, 129.6. That is on pace with the top 10 drivers in this race, so he is gaining on the drivers ahead of him at least.
Yeah.
Though quite a long way up for Matthew Gable.
I think it's
some
doable.
positions this one. It is most definitely doable. I just saw that Bartek put something in a chat somewhere.
Oh, did he? Let me have a look. Channel chat. He's raging.
Bartek, as we love him, of course.
Oh my god.
Oh, Larry and Jay Broker on it again here. Through the final couple of corners, Laurie are very close to Jay Broker. If Broker gets a little bit of wheel spin, Laurie could be all over him. Nothing really seems to come out of that one. But this is also the thing, racing in the dark, it's super distracting being behind another driver. But if you're used to being behind the other driver, then getting out ahead and only having your own headlights to look at, that can be just as distracting as it is driving behind another driver. But Laurie really putting the pressure on Jay Broker now.
Absolutely.
Through the fast right-handers into turn 4. It looks like that Laurie did trick Broker into getting a terrible line there. Though Laurie seems to have let off a little bit on the throttle there coming out of the corner as he doesn't get the run, though he does threaten with the move into the to the chicane. Nothing came out of it this time around.
No, Brooker is not the kind of guy that's going to fall for a little dummy like that. He's an experienced racer as well. Like it'll take a lot more than just a fake dive for anything like that to happen.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
And Neens is on the stream saying you can see Neens streaming through everyone in their little golf now. She's overtaking everyone.
Something about a golf stream overtaking everyone, of course. Top of the race again, Cameron Hunt still applying the pressure on Michael Thomas. Racing in a Ferrari on this track, it must be a true joy to do so. It's so planted when you drive the car. Normally one of the most stable cars, as Hunt really pushes the car there, putting two wheels onto the grass, but keeps it going. Not the greatest of time losses, but a little bit there to Thomas, of course. But as I was saying, the Ferrari is such a stable car. It's a true joy to drive. And around this track, I could only imagine it being one of the more fun combinations if you like to keep your car on the edge of your own skill levels, and you can really push it around here before getting the often a tiny bit more understeer than oversteer. It can be adjusted in setups with the Ferrari quite easily. As he puts pressure on the little bit boring to drive Aston Martin. Though I would recommend, if there's anyone out there who haven't done a ton of sim racing and they're still trying to find a car to get their grabs on and becoming their main go-to car, then the Aston Martin would be a good one to try out. Easy to drive car, super stable, competitive car as well. Not the most rewarding car to drive, so I'll say. It's not like when you do a great lap that you feel, wow, that was a good lap. But it just comes with steady driving, a good car to practice with. if you just want to go out there and learn the tracks, or just quickly jumping into a server and having fun racing others.
Absolutely. And we have Laurie then in P5 is actually trying to put the foot on again with Broker. Honestly, if you were Laurie here, as you asked me, I'm going to ask you, would you pit?
With the information that the drivers normally have available to them, then I probably wouldn't pit at this point. I would consider within the next 2 or 3 laps coming into the pits and maybe doing it a little bit earlier than I would have planned for. These guys are very likely fueled to go as deep into the race as possible and take a 1 liter stop by the end of the race. I don't think there are mandatory tires in this one.
Nope.
So that would have been my strategy from the start, but it could be an option here for Laurie to take the early pit stop and get it out of the way. Personally, I don't think I would do it, as I wouldn't have the full track map on, and I wouldn't know where to come out, and I would rather be behind Broker keeping a consistent pace than I would risk going out in traffic that could potentially cause me issues trying to overtake the slower drivers.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to jump from this one in a second, unless something happens up here, because I see Tom Solis is looking to make a move.
Something does happen. Laurie comes up to the inside. Broker overshoots a little bit as Broker retakes the position there.
Nice, nice. We're going to jump on with Solis, so while that happens. Also, Cameron Hunt from P2 is in the pits.
Just about to say that Cameron Hunt have boxing stop mistake for Cameron Hunt. Solis to the inside of Kofis. Actually makes it stick. In that one, it did look like he was a little bit late, but it must have been Kofis being early there, seeing Solis coming on the inside, trying the switch back, but it didn't work. Kofis coming this time around. No, just showing, threatening Solis with a move into the final couple of corners. This could be the end of Kofis in this battle, as Solis might just be driving away ever so slightly over the next couple of laps. If he can keep his foot planted, I think that will be the plan, at least for Tom Solis in this one.
Absolutely there, and looking there now. So Hunt now, he's dropping out possibly behind Castellano. So Hunt's actually dropping down quite a bit, so he could be down behind Castellano. Probably, as he's coming out of the pits now, so he is behind Castellano. He's going to stay ahead of Gary Smith. So that's down to P13 from P2. And a lot of traffic in his way, though.
Yeah, but he might be able to get that sorted quickly, but smart move from Cameron Hunt. If it pays off getting out of traffic and he can outpace Michael Thomas in the front from the back, then this will definitely be a wise move from Michael Thomas. It will be dependent, of course, if he can get the tires fired when he comes out of the pits. It can be difficult when they just get that little bit of a cool down when you're going through the pit lane, getting back up into temperature without them feeling terrible. But yeah, that's the risk that Cameron Hunt took this time around.
Absolutely there, and we'll just jump on there now. Sorry, because Laurie and Broker. Laurie got the move done. Let's go back and look at it. Sorry, while I was looking at another bit of an incident. So Laurie goes on the inside of Broker through turn 1 there and gets the job done in this replay there. Do you reckon Brooker's going to keep him honest and keep fighting the whole way to the end, or do you reckon Brooker will drop off now?
It's difficult to say, as we did see Laurie drop off at a point after a failed overtake attempt and then caught up quite quickly to Broker, but now Broker have the advantage of being in the slipstream. So it is hard to say. This can be difficult for Broker now that he will have to adjust to braking slightly early into the corners with a car ahead, and whether or not that he can keep it on. It does look like that Broker is trying to keep Laurie honest through at least the first lap of following him around, but it have looked like that Laurie have more pace than Broker on this one. But yeah, we'll have to see as Laurie makes a slight mistake that goes all the way into the grass, puts it into the wall as well. And the pit straight, Jay Broker gets through there. Now I think Laurie will jump into the pit and try and lose as little time as possible. No, he continues on. Outbrakes himself once again. This is a risk you run. As soon as you make the mistake, you do get some pickup on the tires that affects the handling of the car. And that might be the sinner, as you say, of the that final corner plowing of the grass. Yes, that's the correct word that I was looking for.
Your English is better than mine anyway, don't be worrying.
No, yeah, well, that's not the only thing that will be plowed tonight, I assume. Anyways, enough about my personal life.
What about the sheep?
No.
Oh, that's only for your OnlyFans. If you're into sheep kind of stuff, go to his OnlyFans.
Yes, all videos was recorded before 2016. Marius Butin, a driver that we've seen a lot in the 707 car, one of the many BMWs, and currently on the standings, BMWs are quite high up, but we have seen a few pit stops from some of the top guys, which puts them up into a virtually higher position at the minute than they might be at the end. But good driving. You know what driver that we haven't seen that much of this race that I feel like we should have a look at?
Who?
John Wilson.
John Wilson.
I don't think that we have seen him too much this race, and it is such a shame because look at that beaut of a lorry that he's running.
Where is that?
Keeping the well, not there. That's just a beautiful track.
That's the coon on camera. What the fuck? There we go.
Greatest camera that we've ever seen. He is keeping the BMW on with actual BMW M Sport racing colors and keeping that very, very beautiful livery on the car.
Oh, Bouton's had a moment. He's back on though. So that puts Wilson up into P6.
Yeah, good for Wilson. Not that good for Butin. Hence why he also gains one on that small incident.
You know what? For him now, that's a good ploughing done.
I would say so myself. I would be proud to plow like that.
And look at this Hunt after getting by Castellano.
That's Hunt, yes, that's Hunt and Castellano. Hunt getting the move done. Hunt knows that he needs to dispose of the slower drivers, or from his point of view, the slower drivers as quickly as possible when he catches them, to keep in the fight with Michael Thomas. Though not all of them might be equally interested in just letting him go through, as they are allowed to race him, as it is for possession.
He's done a good job there. He's cleared them fairly good enough, and of course Giuseppe obviously back into Cops and Solace having a little bit of a battle. The Cops obviously didn't share his livery, so he's a lovely carbon look on his BMW.
Well, a good bunch of carbon is always good to look at, and it goes so great with the theme of darkness around this track this evening.
And it also hides the buck teeth grill on that Beamer.
Oh yes. It actually looks like a regular car, you know, in the dark.
Yeah, it actually does. Until the light hits it.
And that's what people say about me as well. Anyways.
On to another BMW. Laurie's back up a broker.
These two just seem to... these are impenetrable or inseparable this evening are the thing I wanted to say. The other thing is something that will happen later. Laurie on the back of Broker. Once again, a little bit disappointing for Laurie. Last time he made the move, he had that off at a weird place on the track. Although I would lie if I said that I had never done the exact same thing myself. So he's back on it again. It's just a reset for him in this race. Exactly where he was just a few laps ago, right behind Jay Broker. Having to try and find the move once again. Although now he knows where it's possible at least to get the move done. Does get a little bit of an oversteer moment there coming out the very surprisingly tricky corner of the exit of turn 7. 7 are the entire combination of the double chicane and that really tricky right-hander. As if you don't nail the chicane, then you will have to lift off going through the fast right-hander. It is possible to go flat out, of course, but you still run the risk of the rear end slipping out a bit, as there's a little bit of elevation change as you go through the corner. We saw that happen to Laurie. Interesting that we can just sit and talk about stuff that we have no actual knowledge of when we are live on a stream like this. But it sounds smart, and everyone out there in the YouTube commentary obviously agrees.
Yeah, they're all just like, wow, this man knows what he's talking about.
Exactly, and in reality, I don't. I just pretend.
That's all any of us do.
Alexander here, also not a guy that we've seen that much of this evening, have been running quite a bit alone. I think he was involved in something earlier in the race, but doing doing the 133 is not the quickest driver on track at the minute, but keeping the car going, and that's something that we obviously always like to see. You don't have to be one of the fastest guys to have fun on a racetrack, especially not in sim racing.
No, definitely not.
And just being around faster drivers normally also makes yourself faster. So I remember myself when I started sim racing, I would be lapped by the fastest drivers in a 1 hour race, like almost 2 times in some races. But yeah, just keep practicing if you are further down the grid, and you will slowly start to see your own improvement going up the order. And at one point, you might even start battling for top positions, as we have seen other drivers in the community, in other communities over the years, going from rock bottom to high up in the grid. Matthew Gamble there going through on the inside. That was for position.
He's actually up to 16 because Wilson rejoins from the pits in P18.
Oh yeah, that brings him into 16th. Matthew Gamble on the recovery drive. Next up for Matthew Gamble will be what is that? That's Tory Miller ahead of him. Not too far out of reach for him. He can definitely get Miller, at least if he keeps up the pace. Matthew Gamble can. Also remember that Alexander haven't pitted yet. Still running around there. Laurie into the pits. Laurie comes into the pits trying to undercut Jay Broker. This could be a smart move, but whether or not that he have taken damage repairs as well will be interesting to see. We will not actually know that unless if we have a timer where we can see how long he was stopped for.
I'll tell you there now. So for Mr. Where is he now? Laurie was stopped for 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds. Fast stop so far is Vining 5 seconds.
Yeah, that can just be a matter of how quick you are on the ignition or the starter of the car. But I feel like he might not have taken damage repairs there, even though if he was stopped for 6 seconds and if he only had 1 second of fuel, or 4 seconds of fuel, as I think it normally goes to as a minimum, then 2 seconds of damage repairs wouldn't be unrealistic for the small contacts that he had with the wall.
Do you want to know something interesting? Hunt was stopped for 32 seconds. So Hunt must have done tyres unless he had severe damage, which I didn't see. He was racing obviously very hard with Michael out front. So he's got... Oh, Brooker's after having a bit of a crash.
Brooker. This could put a... I tell you what, I bet you that was enough for Laurie to get ahead once Brooker finishes his pit stop.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's interesting to know that that Hunt took a much longer pit stop. That could have been tires, or he could have simply just forgotten to do the tire change when he was in the pit, or forgotten not to do the tire change that we've seen other drivers do that over the years. As it usually resets to tire change as the standard in the pit stop menu when you're driving around in the MFD.
Possibly. Maybe he's on an aggressive quality setup and decided tyres. He done about 15 laps on his first stint, I think it was, as well. And he's only on lap 7 now. So probably a little bit early for tyres, so maybe he did just forget to turn it off.
It could also have been that he, by accident, started on qualifying tyres and therefore took the earlier stop. And he was close to Michael Thomas, so it could have been a matter of trying to undercut as well. It will be interesting if we can get confirmation on that after the race, just to see what was going on there, as that could have played this race directly into the hands of Michael Thomas for top position.
Absolutely. And Craig, look, there's no worries. Craig was saying that just the McLaren was struggling too much. He was losing out. So he gave it up a day. Now, I do see, obviously, he had 1 or 2 moments, whatever like that as well. So, look, that's fair, Craig. You know, unfortunately, with the data provided on the vote in place, it is what it is for this race this week. Obviously, next week, we will surely have the proper data, and there'll probably be a proper BOP in place because LFM are working on it at the minute as well. So everybody's kind of all over the place with this at the minute, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the thing when BOP updates come out in this short notice or on the days of on motor races, then it's not always easy for people to adjust to the new BOPs, as often or not you will have made yourself to the old BOP. And that can change a little bit with how you actually wanted your car to behave. If you get a little bit of extra ballast maybe, or ballast is taken out of your car, you might want to add or lose some wing, maybe do a little bit with camber as well. So that could play into the hands of some of the drivers tonight, and some might be caught up. But it's the same for everyone, except for those who have no life, and obviously we haven't been doing anything all day and just sat driving around practicing for this particular race.
You're only jealous. I wish I was doing it.
But in theory, it is the same for everyone.
Exactly.
So there shouldn't be anything there. It's just how racing goes sometimes on these sim racing.
So Jay Broker's sitting in second. He's 38 seconds, you might as well say, off Thomas in the lead at the minute, which is pretty much a pit stop. Thomas is pretty much clear now of Broker. Obviously, time lost in the pits, if you're only doing a splash and dash of 5 seconds, it's 40 seconds from entering the pits to leaving the pits. So really you're talking 35 seconds lost just driving through the pits.
Yeah, and we are in a situation now that Michael Thomas basically can drive safely from here until the end, but the secondary positions are not over yet, though. Jay Broker, he might not come out in second place after the pits, as that could very easily. It actually looks like that P2 currently in the race, and there's a little bit of fight for it, as you have jumped down to. I just noticed on the timing boards that Piccone and Hunt are getting close to each other.
So we're on my pick.
Hunt is catching up to Piccone, I should rather say.
We'll jump on with him.
Oh, you can see the strong self, the steering wheel through the first corner, how he fights the car. Not the smoothest of steering inputs, it looks like, but it works for Hunt. It seems like. I just wish I was as fast as this guy.
I think you need it on the edge.
And then I wouldn't be sat here in the commentary booth, of course, and I would be on the track racing. As you can see there on the braking, the cars are closing up. This is one of the points where you can gain a lot of time on your opponents, and Hunt really does it well. They're getting early on the throttle, much earlier than Piccone. A bit later on the brakes, so he didn't seem to be closing in that much there. Gets a reasonable run there, goes a little bit wide, have to get off the throttle for this corner. This could give Piccone just a little bit of gap he needs to stay ahead for this lap. Into the hard braking, so one of the better overtaking opportunities around the track. Turn 8 as it's called on our track map. Going on to the outside view, as we can see Hunt's car as well. Beautiful livery on the car. Fun fact that everyone named Hunt who have participated in the Formula 1 Drivers' World Championship have won at least one Formula 1 Drivers' World Championship. So maybe Cameron Hunt are in the wrong business.
Possibly. Maybe we should get him into Formula 1.
I think so as well.
We're going to your best friend.
Oh yes, still tucking in behind Piccone there, coming into the first corner. Butine lapping around nice and easily in fourth position. Pennywise ahead of him. Small gap of like 1.3 seconds it looks like on our timing sheets. Further down, Hunt and Piccone. Now Hunt have gone through Piccone.
Well, we get a look at the replay.
Yeah, let's get a replay and claim the virtual P2 back, as he will be the lead driver who have pitted at this point.
So look at it from this view here. So he's gone side by side. That's a brave move up the inside there.
Yeah, it did look like he was very close coming into turn 1 and then through the fast right-handers. He must have gotten a slightly better exit of turn 2, allowing him to pull off the move on the inside, forcing another driver wide there. Also gives you the advantage of inside through the entirety of the thing. And as soon as you have to go on the brakes, then you have the line secured.
I've seen a yellow flag in Gary Smith, but I just don't know what it was. But it's probably too far back to watch another 30-second replay.
I would assume you're talking way too much, Mooney.
You what, bruv?
What?
You what, bruv? I'm talking way too much.
Yes, it's like being sat here with a woman and Bartek taking the prize for longest pit stop, going up to 29 minutes at this point. I don't think that we'll be seeing him back on track, unfortunately, this race. 20 minutes of racing remaining. Michael Thomas and Jay Broker are still to take their pit stops.
The lovely sound from that AMG though, isn't it?
It's a beautiful engine sound. Nothing really beats a naturally aspirated V8 engine.
I know what does.
What?
John Cena!
Oh no! Now the WWE are coming out of with copyright strikes.
Oh
And will be
no.
sued in America. Hide the kids! It's going to be a nasty one.
God
And that we
damn
will obviously broadcast live here on the Supercharged Motorsports channel as well, live from court in America. The two idiots versus the World Wrestling Entertainment Corporation.
Do you think we'd get more views than Johnny Depp and Amber Heard?
Oh, you would think so. Winning under pressure from Kowalski for 12th position, or virtually 12th position. Hard to say, or 12th position in the race, hard to say where they really are after the pits, as there's still a few drivers who need to get that sorted.
Neen is asking, can you not see her in the golf on track? She wants a bit of airtime.
Oh, then let's get the golf on track. Kowalski with the British flag on top of the car, obviously showing a great tribute to the guys who saved his country after the Second World War. No, that was from the other side that happened. We shouldn't be talking about stuff like this, Mooney.
I'm sorry. You started the conversation and ended it yourself. Wow. We'll jump on. Matty Gamble's coming up now as well. He's putting the pressure on Miller.
I think that this battle will be over before the winning Smith battle or winning a Kowalski battle further up. So a good call watching this one. Matthew Gamble on Tory Miller, the BMW versus the Mercedes battle of the Germans. Or German cars at least. I don't think Matthew Gamble would like to be called a German.
No.
Close up behind. I feel like he had to lift off the throttle there to avoid the cut. Or does he? He does get the better run there on Miller. Miller might have lifted off there just to let Matthew Gamble go through, as he saw him coming with way more speed over the last couple of laps, and he might not have wanted to lose time battling Matthew Gamble too much there. As Gamble have taken 14th position in the race, as Boutin also jumps. Now he goes into the pits, and that's why we see movement up in the front. Boutin comes into the pits on lap. Will this be 26? I believe 28.
No.
28, I believe 28.
Yep.
Yes. No. Yes.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
Some might say, at least. With Miller just trying to copy the lines of Matthew Gamble, trying to maybe learn a little bit on of braking markers and zones.
Should we look at this side by side?
Kowalski on winning this time around on the outside of turn 1. This is a risky place to make the move. He needs to hold on now to get it into turn 2. Doesn't quite happen. Oh, Boutin comes out of pits right behind him, getting right into the battle of this. Three-way battle emerging live on the screens for you out there. If you're watching it after the race, then it's obviously not live anymore, but live for us commentating the race at least, and the drivers driving.
And Oliver loves the three-way.
Anytime, especially with you, Mooney. And Dominic as the third party.
What about John Cena? Another one,
Well,
another copy, sorry.
He'll just be sat in the corner watching.
Yeah. He's one of those
He's such a
freaks, isn't he? Yeah. John the big pervert.
Yeah, Kowalski really attacking the curbs all he can. It looked like a little bit of movement underneath his car as he came through that. Kowalski doing everything he can to put pressure on winning.
And come here.
He might want to try it as soon as possible, as it looks like he does have speed over winning as he caught him up from behind. This time he does have the, he is close enough to try to make the send. He does pull out and does seem to be trying the inside, though he does manage to safely pull out that one.
Have you ever safely pulled out?
I wouldn't say so, but I don't have any kids, so hard to say really.
And come here, I have a really serious racing question now, as much as we're all joking that when the river's flowing, do you take the dirt track?
Back to the studio.
Broker is now 47 seconds off Michael Thomas. So Michael Thomas can easily stop, and nearly stop for pits at this stage, because looking at the next person who's pitted is all the way down to C. Hunt. And he is just about, I think he's just about able, if he wanted to change tyres and come out now, he could do so. Obviously, he probably won't risk that.
Yeah, but it's very unlikely that he will do that with 15 minutes remaining of the race. Then he will definitely have had some issues with the monster getting some severe issues with the tires. But surprising that Broker is still keeping out there in front. I would probably have done the same in his situation. If you know that you're only going to take fuel, then you might as well wait as late as possible if you're running in clean air to minimize the risk of getting out in traffic. Though we would wish that he came into the pits now so we could see where he would come out and see if he would be battling people for position. But hey, we can't win every time in the commentary booth. Even though that we actually do win every time as we get to watch beautiful, beautiful motor racing. Even though it's virtual motor racing, we do get to watch it.
Absolutely.
And the entertainment is just as real as in real life when these cars go around.
Looking here though, I'm gonna move down because Kowalski and Voinen are still at it.
They surely are, they surely are. The winning does seems to be able to hold Kowalski off so far in the battle. Kowalski haven't really come out and done a ton of threatening on winning as of yet. We did see him being close for almost an entire lap, but nothing really came out of that.
No, it's just one of those things now. You're kind of trying to force an error to happen, but at this stage of the race, all the guys are very eyed and clued in, and because it's a sprint, it's not an endurance. You're not going to really people fatiguing too much over an hour at the sim rig, so really now it's more just a matter of hoping that he makes an error more than anything else at the minute. If he doesn't have the out and right pace to get by Voining, it's just a matter of hoping that he does make the error.
Yeah, it surely is, and we talked about this earlier in the race as well, that overtaking around this track are a little bit difficult, and you need the driver head to make a slight mistake to get the run if you don't have a ton of pace difference over him. Even flashing the lights now to try and psych out winning. Does the BMW driver of Kowalski. But you need the driver head when you are this closely matched to make it. Just a tiny mistake coming out of the corner. It could be getting a little bit too late on the throttle. It could be a small bit of wheel spin. But you need to be close enough to take advantage of the mistake, but not so close that you have to take evasive action and maybe have to lift off yourself as they both go a little bit wide there, pushing it to the absolute limit of what these cars can do without losing time there in turns 4. Through the chicane they went. Both cars seeming there's a lot of different ways you can take that chicane depending on whether or not you want the first or the second curb. You could also take both of them, but that normally just means that you're going to spin out. Though these drivers seems to be wanting the same line through that chicane of turns 5 or section 5, we should rather say, as the turns are a little bit clustered together around this track.
And this is one of the easier tracks though as well to note as well. Racing at Arthur is an awful lot of lit area, so it's actually one of the easier tracks to drive at. It's not like Spa or Bathurst. Once you kind of go off the main straight, there's nothing, so it's actually an easier track to race in at night as well.
It is definitely also racing this track at night. We get a beautiful look on the wind turbines in the background, and especially this view down the start-finish straight. It really feels like you're in the middle of it. A lot of things going on around the track, and the Belgians love to have their energy-efficient solutions around big open areas like this. And you might as well, you know, when you have an open area where you don't disturb private people, and you might as well put up the wind turbines and the solar cells and everything like that. I think that the solar cells around this track are just about enough to power your PC at home, Mooney, and the wind turbines could power mine.
Nah, it wouldn't be enough because I have all my vibrators connected up to it as well.
Oh yeah, you would need a nuclear power plant.
That's what I do use.
Oh, nice. It's just in the back garden, I assume.
It's actually, to be honest with you, it's my bed. I sleep on it.
Oh yeah, I have heard uranium should be the best kind of bedding material.
It's really comfortable.
Yeah, I would imagine. So anyways, 10 minutes to go in this motor race. It's still status quo in the front with Michael Thomas and Jay Broker. None of them have pitted yet, hence why Tom Solis and Co-Peace follow them behind, also not pitted yet. First guy who have pitted will be Cameron Hunt. though he is so far behind Michael Thomas that Michael aren't very like to come out ahead of him at the pit stops. We are currently on board with Honda as we're speaking, as they have come up to Copies. Or Copes, as you say, Dino Pinocchio behind. Sorry, I keep calling him that. It's not his name. Piccone. Dino Piccone behind him, and then Oryx Simic, who also haven't pitted yet. Then a bunch of drivers who have pitted. You can just read them in the top of the corner. I don't want to sit and yell them out because I'm a lazy commentator. But Honda and Copies, this should be a matter of time before Hunt gets this move done. But it seems like Copies is so slow out of that corner that Hunt actually have to let off the throttle there, losing a bit of time. Just show a little bit on the inside through these corners. Hunt gets nice and early on the front, but so does Copesy there.
Yeah.
Will he try it into turn 1? I think it's unlikely that Hunt will risk it into turn 1, though he does show it here and go for the inside move. Copesy allowing a lot of room there for Hunt. Also, I think Copesy knows that it's not his battle, or Copesy. So yeah, Hunt through into P5. At the minute, he is still gaining on the cars ahead, except for Michael Thomas. Keeping up a good pace there does Cameron Hunt. Simic comes into the pits. Less than 10 minutes remaining, and Mooney could probably tell us when you have to get your pit stops sorted, before what time with the pit windows and stuff.
A hair past the freckle.
A hair past the freckle, people will have to have their pit stops done.
Or in human time, that's about 5 minutes to go.
That is about 1/2 rotation of a beer bottle on an old disc recorder. Equal to the amount of beer that you can drink in 5 minutes. That would be, I would assume, about 4 cans without overdoing it. Choking 5, then you might be a little bit too tipsy to continue standing up straight. That would have happened before in my younger days.
I'm not gonna ask, not on stream.
No, we can take that later, or maybe make a separate personal stream about this.
Solus is in the pits.
Solus comes in.
As is Cops.
No, I was just about to say it's only Thomas Broker and Henwise who haven't boxed yet. Though they are getting awfully close. They are very likely to come in this time around. The top 3, Michael Thomas into the pits as well. Almost an entire lap ahead of Tom Solus.
So we're on with Tom Solus. How long is he going to be stopped for? Thomas is in the pits.
He's actually stopped for quite long. Did he? He didn't take tires, but that was maybe some issues with getting the car turned off or bad parking.
10 seconds,
in the pit
yeah.
lane. Highly unfortunate. Michael Thomas now coming into a stop. This will be a situation where he'll probably want to go out quickly again.
He could stop for maybe a cup of tea and then go back out.
He could definitely do that, but he wants to go out and maintain position. I do think that he's likely to come out ahead of Jay Broker, even though Broker might be coming into the pits as well. Or is he risking it for another lap? No, Broker's coming in. That's the... Whoa! He definitely didn't practice that pit entry. It is a bit of a tricky pit entry, especially if you're in traffic, since you can brake much later coming into the pits as you normally would on the racing line. A bit of a weird design.
Absolutely, and I'm looking here. So look, Hunt's going to get by Broker, but now Piccioni and Broker. If you remember this fight, Piccioni, by it looks, I think, is going to be ahead.
Yeah, we saw Broker go off into the gravel there on the first lap after Piccioni had pitted. I think that will be the decisive factor in this one.
Yeah.
And that will be the reasoning why Piccioni passes Broker. Broker have passed him now. It's interesting to see where Broker exactly comes out, as Gary Smith could potentially get close to him.
We'll jump on with Gary.
After this stop, he's still in the pit lane. Gary comes down and start-finish rate. It's not going to be super close as Broker's on the track, going way wide there over the pit exit line. Not that it matters too much as no traffic coming on there, but need to practice that a little bit maybe for next time it goes to Zolder.
And Piccioni was stopped for 15 seconds. Broker was only stopped for 6 seconds. That goes to show the difference. Remember, Broker had that bit of an incident coming out of the last turn as well. But I also have a quick one for you. So Neen's is asking what do you think her race name would be. Now she asked me, but I want to ask you, what would we give Neen as a racer name?
What's her full name?
Her full name is Ninja Neens.
Ninja Neens. Then she would be Naughty Ninja.
Naughty Ninja.
Neens. Yeah, I'll take it. Naughty Neens, actually. I think that would be a good racer
But don't
name.
forget, this is the one that asked me about the period thing.
Okay, so not so naughty Nina would be the... No, I think her racer name would be something like, I don't know, Olga Henderson, I think would be a reasonable name to choose.
Olga Henderson.
Yeah. Or Olga Jamudottir, which is Icelandic.
I'd call her Dominic Geese.
Dominic Geese is also a good name, and I've heard that only one other racer is using that name.
Yeah, surprisingly.
So, yeah, I wonder why not more people have chosen that.
No clue. Back on now with the race leader. He's not really got much airtime.
No, that's because he's so boring just dominating the race. Although he didn't dominate in the start of the race, we did see a lot of good racing there between him and Cameron Hunt. Hence why I haven't pitted yet, and we have passed the 5 minutes left of the race. His engineer will be yelling in his ear, box and stop. Box and stop.
Box and stop. Box and stop.
Bitte box and stop. Bitte box and stop.
9!
Box and stop 9. Box and stop 9.
Neen says she wants to be Duck Duck Goose, so you'd have to keep saying Duck Duck Goose.
Then I would prefer calling Colin Mooney.
I'd rather call her 33 and a third.
33 and a third. It's very hard to hear what you're saying in Irish when you have all those T's.
33 and a third.
33 to third. 32 to third. 32 to third.
33 and a third.
32 to the third. 33 and the third.
Yeah, 33 and a third.
Third in a tree in the third.
33 and thirds trees. What? Right, let's get back to the race. Kowalski and Vinan right out of here.
It's still at it, we should say. Interesting to see if Kowalski will go into this desperation mode here, as there are very likely only 2 laps remaining for these guys. And if he will just launch it up the inside to try and gain the position, or if he will concede the position and take 8th by the end of the race in the 888 machinery, even though it doesn't say on the side of the car. A bit of a designing error, as you would normally want to have the number on the car. Ooh, Simic and contact.
Your teammates
goes off spinning. Well, just because you're teammates, you don't have to be good friends. We have seen that all the time in motorsports history throughout.
Ooh.
Castellano there coming onto the inside, just diving it up on the... And Simic, I think Simic is fully on the steering lock there, trying to avoid it, but trying not to lose time as well. And losing out himself in that one. Unfortunate there. But good to see... God damn it, now you moved away so I can't remember the last name.
Simsic and Castellano.
But good to see him back on track this week. John Wilson coming up to Miller and could potentially go for some kind of a move. Though it would be a little bit risky from this distance, of course, but he could try and... Oh, well, he will definitely try and close the gap. Get closer. We'll see if he have the talents for that. Or if he will be the next driver joining the untalented motorsports team. Kowalski got the move done on winning. I just saw on the side of my corner. Kowalski have gotten the move done on Chris winning. Just as we go away from that battle, all the action happens, of course. That's how it is being a broadcaster. There's a curse on us commentating motor races when we have to control the cameras ourselves. Well, Mooney controls them as I just sit here and talk shit for about an hour. What a way to spend a Wednesday night.
Flirting with Dominic. And, in fairness, making you jealous.
The bad link between Winning and Kowalski, they are swapping positions like crazy up there. I mean, I just did. They must have been side by side down a straight.
You were stopping me saying what I was going to say.
Now jumps down behind some solids as well. There must have been contact up that battle.
Let me talk. I just want to say, while I'm flirting with Dominic, what's it like to be carrying him driving?
It's actually a little bit difficult as his penis is so heavy.
That is quite true. But some say if you rest it in your mouth, it actually helps.
Yeah, that's normally what I do, but it's so big that I can't have the entirety of the penis in my mouth.
But the tip is enough.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And we're on with Michael Thomas going into the sector 3 of the last lap.
Yes, Michael Thomas, great drive from him once again. Third time that we're saying that in a row, coming into to finish the race in top position. And there's a move there happening just ahead of us. And no, unfortunately, Wilson just goes into the grass attempting that.
So here we have
what?
Here we have Thomas going around, but at least for Wilson, that's it. He doesn't have to do another lap. He's behind the race leader.
But Miller will try and stay ahead to secure that. That means also if Miller gets a penalty, no matter how hard it is, he's still one lap ahead of Wilson, so it won't matter for him. At this point, maybe a smart move from him. Thomas just parks it. Hence why it's interesting to see
He's
what will
still
happen.
not
Why haven't he pitted? I think he might have some hot issues. He will definitely be handed some kind of a DSQ or something when he crosses the start-finish line by the end game. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that he gets to take the flag or what happens.
Yeah, he's got 130 seconds of a penalty no matter.
130-second penalty for not taking the pit stop.
And Hunt in third.
Ouch. I mean, 103rd. Hunt and at third.
Go on, Brooker coming up to fourth. Or fifth, actually, as Piccioni got fourth. Brooker in fifth. Gary Smith, though, even with his trials and tribulations, getting a slight little detour and a nudge to take that detour in life, has come into P6 there. So well done to Brooker in P5. Gary's persevered and got a P6. That's a good position, especially after being hit. Then Vining, Solis, Kowalski all in a low row there as well. It's great to see it. Then we've got Cops and Gamble then as well. Your good friend Booten, just to say it correctly. Then Wilson from Miller from Lowry. And that is it, guys.
What a race we had this evening. Great entertainment throughout, some interesting moves, great battles up and down, great driving from basically all the drivers, nothing too serious that we saw on the stream at least, which is always good to see.
Absolutely.
Great racing. Any good words you want to put on this before we move on?
I would just like to say that there was cars on track and there was a race. There was some good times and some bad times, but the good times outweighed the bad times. It was a good race.
As it's supposed to be.
But look, I think it kind of proved the myth about the BOP as well in terms of the BMW. I'm sure there might have been one car maybe with an edge. Like, everyone's probably going to look at Michael Thomas and the Aston, but Michael Thomas has been dominating these races as of late. He's rapidly fast in that car. So, interesting. Hopefully we'll have the full data for the BOP as of next week. And I hear Dominic Geese is going to make a comeback because Oliver Anderson's going to make a comeback. Dominic's going to take the BMW because he loves it, but Oliver's going to come in a V12 Aston.
Really?
That's what I've heard now. I don't know how true it is.
No, we'll have to wait and see.
And what was your highlight of the race, Oliver?
It ending.
Wow. Wow. Gary Smith saying that was a nice race.
I would say the battling in the early laps between Michael Thomas and Cameron Hunt.
Yeah.
It was so good to see that Michael Thomas didn't just get to run away with this one uncontested.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely. 100%. 100%. Look, there was an awful lot of good battles. Obviously, a few people were unlucky with a few incidents. Like Gary Smith proved that even though he got rammed off, he came back in and got a great position. Tom Solis had a great race. Even Matthew Gamble, after being gone for a detour, let's say, we won't say that he was murdered, but you know, he had a really bad start to the race, really, but I recovered very well up to P12 as well. So like, there's an awful lot of good highlights there throughout it.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
But it was good just to see people enjoying the race and getting on with it as well. So, but yeah, Oliver, as always, thank you very much for jumping in and doing commentary here. I actually got to relax a good bit as usual. I do love your comments, but also I just love how you didn't mention the thing that I'm going to not mention before the stream ends. So thank you.
Mention the what?
Exactly. Right. I'm going to end the stream. Oliver, I'm going to give you the last words, as dangerous as it is. Oliver has no words. Is that what's happening? Oliver's gone. Bye, guys.